Good morning, everybody. I'm Jared Klein coming to you live from the NBC29 Digital Desk. Let's get started with this morning's rush with our local headlines. First this morning, the Tadashi Keys murder trial is underway in Charlottesville this week. He's accused of shooting and killing Eldridge Vandrew Skeeta Smith. The 36-year-old was a member of the Buck Squad, which works to reduce gun violence in the city. He was found bleeding inside a car on Grove Street back in January. Yesterday, a Charlottesville police detective who said he was first on the scene testified. The jury saw body cam footage and photos from that night. 13 bullet casings were also presented as evidence. Greene County recently adjusted the pay scale for sheriff's deputies. This after a study found the agency had lower salaries than surrounding counties. The biggest change is a rise in pay for new deputies. A Greene County administrator says pay is one of the main drivers for retention and recruiting. Tent encampments are dotting Charlottesville's Market Street Park. Last week, the city stopped enforcing park rules. This after an alleged incident between a police officer and a man who did not leave after curfew. Some cities across the U.S. are pushing back against these types of encampments. The argument is they take away from public spaces. But for now, the tents on Market Street are not going anywhere. No legal challenges have been filed in the city. And Great Harvest Bread in Charlottesville is teaming up with an app called Too Good to Go. Restaurants and stores that have extra food can join the app in its mission to end food waste. Great Harvest Bread is the first store in Charlottesville to participate, is offering a surprise bag valued at $15 but sold for $4.99. Seems like a pretty good idea there.
I know, I like that.
Yeah.
Especially when you're on a budget.
Yeah,
prices.
don't waste food.
So yeah, I hate wasting food. It's really a pet peeve.
Oh yeah.
So, all right, and speaking of costs, so as a mom, you know, you're thinking about costs and paying for kids. So there is this new report that the expense of raising kids is just getting higher and higher. Mm-hmm. And parents, you know, we're thinking about college, but this is kind of, it gives you an idea of how much, like if you wanted to buy a car for your teen. So the annual cost to own a new car, including insurance, is over $11,000. That's now in $10,000, but the annual cost for in-state tuition for a 4 year is $10,000. So it's a lot higher just to have a car.
Just to have a car, then.
Let alone pay for education. And here's a map. In 28 states, child care costs exceed in-state college tuition. Look at Virginia. So it costs more to raise and pay for a child in Virginia than a lot of other states than it is to go to an in-state college.
That is hard to believe, but
I mean, it is where we are.
A reality that many families are facing.
Yeah, absolutely. So we got to pinch those pennies where you can. So just kind of interesting to kind of give you an idea of costs. And
yeah, good perspective.
Yeah, so that's a great article there. This is interesting. So in New York, they unveiled this robot, if you will, and it's part of the police squad now. It's going to be at the subway station in Times Square for 2 months, kind of just as a trial. And what it will do is it will record activity, especially when there's a crime going on. It won't take audio, but it will take recordings. So there's no audio recording, there's no facial recognition, but it's simply to be there, especially from midnight to 6 a.m. to kind of capture any kind of crime that's happening. Yeah. And that can be used. And there's also a button on that, so if you're there at the subway and you feel threatened or anything, you need to report an incident, you can press a button and it will notify authorities to come to that area. And so it's just, again, the safety, this piece of technology that New York City wants to use to try to keep New Yorkers safe. So
I feel like we're living in the Jetsons at this point.
It's kind of amazing,
robots
right?
rolling around, enforcing the law.
Right, watching and observing.
Yeah.
And it's kind of a big thing. It's 400 pounds, this piece of machinery, so.
Kind of looks like a vacuum cleaner.
It really does, or one of those sanitizing machines.
Yeah.
So, but hey, you know, if this is something that works, you know, it could be something that we'll see in more places.
Yeah, so if you're in New York City and you see one of those rolling around, that's what it's for.
That's what it is, right. It's not cleaning the subway.
Not cleaning.
Okay. All right, so people who are fans of Shrek, you can now in the hills of the Scottish Highlands. You can stay in Shrek's Swamp in this stumpy
that's
kind of.
so cool.
Yeah, isn't this kind of neat? So it's available for a 2-night stay for up to 3 people, guests, from October 27th to the 29th, according, it's on Airbnb. I think that's kind of cool.
That is so
I'm
cool.
kind of like, kind of strangely would want to do this.
Yeah. Now, would you have to use this outhouse?
Oh, that's
the
wait,
question.
but maybe there's running water in there.
I would hope so, because I mean,
That could be
Shrek
a deal.
uses his outhouse, so if you really want to be like
That
Shrek.
could be a deal breaker for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I need running water. There's got to be.
I don't know.
I don't know. But it's kind of neat.
That is cool. I mean, I guess they didn't build it in a swamp. You wouldn't really want to vacation in a swamp.
No,
so.
it does look like dirt floors, though.
Yeah.
So that's another thing.
So it's a real Shrek experience.
It
but
is. It is.
It does look really realistic.
Mm-hmm.
Like exactly what it looks like in the movie.
I can't. I mean, I would do that with all my kids. They would have a blast. They'd be like, "This is so cool."
If there's running water.
If there's running water. If there's running water.
If not, then forget it. All right.
All right.
Let's take a look at that 7-day forecast. We got a high of 67 today with those spotty showers and drizzle hanging around. But then tomorrow it's going to be mostly cloudy with a high of 71, as well as Friday, high 74. But this weekend is looking nice with highs in the mid to upper 70s. And then we're back in the 80s for next week. We'll see you again on NBC29 News at noon. And of course, we're always live on NBC29.com. Have a great day. And hello to Franco. Thank you for watching us this morning.